University of Texas in.
A great team isn't born, it's built. One intangible at a time. Heart, chemistry, character.
Way back there.
Bound together by the belief that comes from overcoming adversity.
Cinderella wins the national championship. And the Bruins have done it.
With a steady hand shaping the framework and applying the finishing touches, all it takes is time, effort, and a long road taken as a team. A team with one shared dream, one goal in mind, to win it all in Omaha.
Texas is back after 2 years with no NCAA postseason. Now a win away from a 35th trip to Omaha. On the other side, Houston is actually right where they want to be. Backs against the wall. They've got to win twice, but they know they did it just last week at LSU in regional play. Welcome to the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. Getting set for Game 2 of this Super Regional from the dish at the University of Texas in Texas's capital city of Austin. Take a look at the bracket leading into Omaha in the College World Series. Your Super Regionals on this side. The winner out of here will face the winner out of Stillwater, where UC Irvine has a 1-0 lead on Oklahoma State. Louisville and Vanderbilt also Game 1 winners on Friday. Texas got a 4-2 win in Game 1, and it all started early off the bat of Mark Payton, Danny Cannell.
He's been doing it for him all year, batting in that third spot. He's reached base 100 straight games. This was a shocker to everyone, including Augie Garrido, who said that was the last thing he expected was the 2-run shot, but that was the difference. Really set the tone in the game.
Yeah, 2-run shot, just his second home run of the year, and you look offensively what Texas was able to do and what Houston, quite frankly, was not able to do. I welcome you inside the booth at the dish. Dari Noka alongside former Florida State Seminole Danny Cannell. So Houston backs against the wall. That's good for them. They're 3-0 in elimination games this postseason. Texas trying to close it out. What are the keys?
I think for Houston, they just looked a little lethargic yesterday. And head coach Todd Whitting, he's going to have to try to pull some of that magic they had in Baton Rouge. The good news for them is they got 2 days to do it. They don't have to take 2 in 1 day like they did from LSU, one of the best teams in the country. For Texas, I'm sure Augie Garrido's message is going to be, let's take care of business. Let's not even have to face a Game 3 when that pressure would be firmly back on the Longhorns. They're going to try to take care of business today.
All right, so Texas, the home team here in Game 2. That means in the bottom of the first, we'll see that man 3 hits in Game 1. Kaylee Hartung coming up with us in just a moment. About ready to roll into Game 2 of this Super Regional spot in Omaha on the line. If Texas can win this one as they lead the best of 3, 1-0, and that certainly should mean something. Kaylee Hartung, as we say hello to you down on the field.
Hey there, Dari. Now, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know when I say there is an advantage to playing at home for a Super Regional, but let me give you some numbers to support that cliche. Since the tournament field moved to 64 teams in 1999, 73% of teams who have hosted a Super Regional have advanced to Omaha. As for the importance of winning Game 1, 78% of teams who have done that have gone on to Omaha. We can make all we want out of those numbers. Texas fans may want to look into hotel rooms in Omaha, but to Augie Garrido, those numbers don't mean a thing, and he reminded his team of that last night, telling them back in 2002, Houston came to Austin for a Super Regional and won Game 1. Texas then proceeded to win the next 2, go to Omaha, and win a national title. Augie Garrido finding a way to make the impactful point. His team's got to continue to take this season 1 game at a time.
All right, Kaylee, thank you very much. Augie Garrido win number 1916 yesterday with that 4-2 win. Houston, the visitors here in game number 2. Kyle Cervantes in his normal leadoff spot. Then there were some changes as Josh Vidalis moves up in the lineup. Frankie Ratcliffe moves up 1 spot. Michael Pyatt moves down a couple. So it doesn't look the same here for the Houston Cougars.
Hey, I wouldn't have kept it the same either if I was Todd Whitting. I'd try to shake things up a little bit, light a fire under your team.
On the mound, it's a man that they have faced before. Back on March 1st, in Houston, actually, Parker French earned a win against Houston. With 7 innings, gave up 1 run, and was fantastic in that game. So when you look at Parker French, what will we be watching for, Dan?
Sort of a little bit similar to what we saw Thornhill yesterday. Maybe not quite the velocity up there. 92, got good sinking movement on his fastball, slider, slurve, and a change. But to him, it's all about location. Going to have to live in that lower portion of the game. Another critical thing to watch out for is how does he start this game? The first couple of innings, how does he settle in on the mound?
And with that, we are ready for game 2. Texas with a win moves into the College World Series. Houston with a win, and we do it again tomorrow right here at the Dish. First pitch from French in for a strike. Kyle Cervantes 0 for 4 as the leadoff man in the Houston lineup in game number 1. In fact, the 1 through 3 hitters yesterday for Houston were a combined 1 of 12. The little damage that was done came 4 through 7 for Houston. And 2-1 now to Cervantes. And you know, Todd Whitting, the Houston coach after the game yesterday, was talking about, look, yes, we didn't do what we wanted to do, but Nathan Thornhill on the mound was spectacular. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Said he threw 3 pitches how he wanted, where he wanted. He just outpitched.
He was in complete command all day, and that's got to be a huge advantage for Parker French, sitting in that dugout watching Thornhill yesterday. Big confidence boost for him to watch his teammate do that. And he made it look effortless, too. That was probably the thing that was most impressive.
The 2-2. Fouled away, we'll do it again. He was very, very, very complimentary of Nathan Thornhill, who just simply was better than his hitters in game number 1. Whitting in his 4th season as Houston head coach. Won 36 games last year. That was their first 30-win season since '08. He is a Cougar, graduated in 1995. Slow ground ball on the off-speed pitch. Marlowe over the first, one away. A little bit more now on Todd Whitting as we send it down to Kaylee.
Dari, this is not unusual for Whitting to switch up his lineup. As he explained to me, this was not based on a knee-jerk reaction off of what those 1 through 3 hitters did yesterday. It's based off of information from the last couple of games. He says he's not one who believes players have to hit in certain spots throughout the season. He goes with how everybody's playing game to game. These games are too important for him to be set in one way.
Well, Vidalis a good example of that. He hit 7th yesterday. And here he is after a 3-hit game in the number 2 spot. But again, that doesn't necessarily play into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good thing for the Cougars if they're not, there's no sense of panic. Look, he's used to jumbling up the lineup, mixing it up, mixing guys, moving them up and down the batting order. So I think there's, there wouldn't be any sense of panic, which is a good thing.
Vidalis fouls it off 1-1 now.
I mean, just what we talked about at the Open, too. There shouldn't be any sense of panic in this Houston team, especially what they accomplished in their Baton Rouge regional, getting 2 games in 1 day from LSU, one of the toughest teams in the country all season long.
This young man has been on a tear. When you go back through the Baton Rouge regional last weekend where he was 11 and 15 and you add yesterday to it, he is 14 of 18 in the NCAA tournament. 14 of 18. I can't be convinced that doesn't play in any way into where he's hitting today.
Yeah.
Let me correct my 11 of 15 in the Conference USA tournament, I should say, not the Baton Rouge Regional. And another chance here for Marlowe. 2 down. Either way, he's hitting the ball very well. And I'm sure French is happy he's done, at least in the first. Now here comes the shortstop, Frankie Ratliff, who was moved from the cleanup spot yesterday to number 3 in the lineup today. Switch hitter from Key West, a transfer from Miami. The only Houston player with NCAA experience before this year. Newcomer of the year in Conference USA last year. Of course, they're in the American Athletic Conference now. The vocal leader of this Cougars team. And that flared into left field. Not a problem for Ben Johnson. So Parker French giving Texas just what they wanted in the first. Horns come to bat in a moment.
Here at SportsCenter, we take
Well, that was a look at what happened here at the Dish in game number 1 on Friday. A 4-2 Texas win, which has the Longhorns in the driver's seat in the Super Regional. A win away from a 35th trip to the College World Series. First since 2011. Longhorns coming to bat in the bottom of the first. And the lineup looks exactly the same as Augie Garrido put out there yesterday.
You see Mark Payton's name highlighted there. He really, it's really set the tempo for the game. He came up, had a work the count full, fouled off a couple pitches, and then took him deep. And that really gave Texas that cushion, and Houston was kind of pressing all game, just didn't look the same.
On the mound now for Houston, Aaron Garza. Been their Friday starter, their #1 starter all season long. In his last outing 6 days ago against Southeastern Louisiana, 6 innings, but gave up 10 hits along with a couple of runs.
With the type of control he has, he's got that command, doesn't walk a lot of guys, and watch for him to work ahead in counts like this. You're seeing already 0-2, he's up on the batter. That's really the key to his success.
Just 10 walks in 104 1/3 innings for Aaron Garza out of Galveston, Texas. 1-2 now to Brooks Marla. But a 1-for-4 day in game number 1.
We talked about Nathan Thornhill, how impressive he was with the win yesterday. He's going to continue celebrating. 13th round pick by the Philadelphia Phillies. Yeah, just earlier, about an hour ago.
Little flare, center field. Fulmer over to his left, and Ashford Fulmer, who gets the start in center today after not starting yesterday, makes the catch. Here's Garza's numbers on the season. Again, just 10 walks and 104 innings of work. So he does find the zone. Not a strikeout.
No, he's going to pound the strikes on. He pitches the contact. He's going to dial up some ground balls, some pop-ups like you just saw.
And now he'll face the left fielder, Ben Johnson, who had a 1-for-4 day, but scored a couple of times, got on base twice. Six home runs, leads the team.
He's got some power, but he also has some wheels on him.
Yes, he does. 21 of 21 in stolen base attempts this season. Number 21 came yesterday. It's the man behind him who supplied the pop yesterday, though. Mark Payton standing on deck at the first inning 2-run home run yesterday. Johnson, ground ball. They say it is foul. Called foul quickly by home plate umpire David Savage. And he confidently reiterates that, yes, that was foul.
Confirmation. And Paul Gooley, the third base umpire, just confirming.
A little late now.
That was a pretty sweet play by Connor Hollis.
Now that's one of those, you can't really do much about it at this point.
No.
Yeah, Hollis had it.
We just talked about the wheels on Johnson. He was moving down that baseline.
So now the 1-2 to Ben Johnson.
And this is sort of what makes Texas tough. They're tough outs. Both these teams, we talked about them being mirror images of each other. What we didn't see from Houston yesterday. But Texas very disciplined at the plate. They all have very good eyes. They're not going to swing at a lot of pitches outside the strike zone. They're going to battle with 2 strikes. Another foul. Another one. This is just kind of typical. Throughout 1 through 9, there aren't many easy outs. Product of that man right there, Augie Garrido, one of the best in college baseball.
And it's a team that's hitting well over 300 in their last 13 games. Off speed, hung in there, still 1-2. Scoring in the first inning has been crucial to Texas this season. They did it yesterday, and now they are 21-2 in games in which they score in the first inning. And that ball hit to second, and a jumping grab by Josh Vidalis. He had it all along. He knew it. Well played by Vidalis.
Another solid, outside pitch trying to take it opposite field. Vidalis climbing the ladder. And Houston, after a rough day yesterday, not only at the plate, just defensively, they weren't crisp. They weren't what you would expect. It'd be key to them to get a 1-2-3 inning to start off. This guy's not going to make it easy.
No, he won't. 2-run home run, part of a 3-hit day yesterday for Mark Payton. You heard the applause. If they win this game, this will be the last time his name is announced for a first at bat in a game here at the Dish. Senior drafted by the Yankees.
By the Yankees during the game yesterday. Didn't want to find out. Said, don't even tell me. And after he heard, he said, yeah. I want to win a World Series
he
first.
wasn't worried about it.
Yeah. Very subdued reaction, which is great. That's what you want. If you're Augie Garrido, you love that.
Payton well hit and another base hit. Is he going to go for 2? No, but he considered it. Well played by the right fielder Cervantes, but that is now 101 consecutive games reaching base for Mark Payton. The home run he hit yesterday. And I'll finish that in just a moment.
That ball's got some good movement, stays back on it. And have to pull it down the line. I like the aggressive turn. You force the throw from Cervantes in right field. Not enough players do that nowadays. You can take that aggressive turn, force a throw. Maybe a guy throws it away.
So he hits the home run yesterday, went into the bullpen in right field over the wall. Now you can picture Yankee Stadium, the short porch and right. So after the game, he was asked about this. He said, could you imagine hitting that home run at Yankee Stadium? You know what he said? I just want to win this game.
Yeah, right. That's all he's worried about.
Tres Barrera, the catcher now. Payton, 19 steals in 20 attempts this season.
Talk about hitting streaks and getting on base streaks. 101 conference record. I was talking to some of the Texas radio people.
Yep.
They were saying they're trying to confirm if it's a national record, but they can't confirm it.
It's not an official stat. It's not an official stat.
But I mean, if you had that record going, you'd want to make it official, right?
Yes, you would. Yes, you would.
How can baseball, a game of stats, what is the most important thing? Getting on base, scoring runs. How can that not be? I mean, I'm not blaming you, Darno.
You seem like you're upset with me here. Was it something I said in 3 hours of radio with you this morning?
No, I'm not sick of you yet.
Nice job filling in for Mel Kiper.
That was fun.
Dorian Mel out of Austin today this morning. Barrera, slow roller, shortstop won't be easy for Ratcliffe to throw across, and he got him. Barrera not the fleetest of foot. And so the Mark Payton single did not end up costing Houston. Nicely played by Frankie Ratcliffe at shortstop.
Beautifully done for the Cougars. They're off to a solid start, but can they generate some offense? We'll find out.
The NCAA Baseball Super Regionals is presented by the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn 1.5% cash back on every purchase. And in part by Allstate. Are you in good hands? And Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic Motor Oils with Pure Plus technology. Motor oil reimagined.
Welcome back to Austin. I'm not going to lie, the snow cones look good, but when you get the juice all over your hands and then it's all sticky, you got a mess, and that's what we just saw there. Dari Noka, Danny Cannell, Kaylee Hartung back with you here in Austin, Texas. As we go to the second, take a look at Texas defensively, and when they talk about that, Augie Garrido talks about with the pitchers that we have that are just strike throwers, but they won't necessarily strike you out. You've got to have a solid defense, and they feel that they do.
That's what they've got. We saw them roll up several double plays yesterday. Really sound defensively.
65 double plays on the season. That's top 10 nationally. They had 3 of them yesterday. So 4-5-6 now for the Cougars. Michael Pyatt, the left fielder, starts it off. Another fantastic crowd. They've increased capacity to 7,600 here. About 600 of those tickets went to the University of Houston, but I see some smatterings of red that may not have been a part of that 600.
They're definitely scattered throughout.
Yeah, there's some, Definitely some Houston fans around here that maybe got some tickets from some Longhorns or buddies with some Longhorns. But make no mistake, burnt orange is the color. here at Austin. 0-2 now from French to Pyatt. That caught his own leg. Oh, goodness. Walking it off.
I don't think anybody can fully understand how bad that hurts unless you've worn one yourself. Right off the shin. I tell you, that'll leave a mark too.
Yeah.
And if you're a pitcher, you love that. I mean, you know he's going to be a little tender right here. Maybe even try to bust one in on his hands again just to give him a little reminder what just happened.
I don't think that's very nice, Canal.
Hey. Nolan Ryan was friendly on the mound.
No,
You think he was Mr. Nice Guy?
No. Well liked in these parts as well. There's no doubt about it. There's Pyatt with a little bounce back, but the liner goes right to the left fielder, Johnson. Talk about the importance of Texas defensively. They've been very good all season long out there. As you can see, 27th nationally in fielding percentage, and then that double play number with 3 yesterday. They shot all the way up to 5th in the country. Justin Montemayor steps in, the DH. 1 for 3, scored a run yesterday for Houston. Ground ball. Brooks Marlowe has been busy. That's an easy play.
Both these teams play on this field turf, but they're very aware kind of how it plays. I love how the infielders come charging hard. We saw at the last inning on the shortstop, Frankie Ratcliffe, to play to end inning. He comes running in full speed, barehanded it, threw it over. That ball, you don't have a lot of time to waste. It's a fast surface for the runners, for the batters moving down the line. Both teams very comfortable defensively on this surface.
Now here's a 5th-year senior, Casey Grayson, hit 3rd yesterday, went 0 for 4. He finds himself hitting 6th today, but he leads this team in average, home runs, runs batted in, doubles, on base, and slugging. He is crucial to the Houston success. And he's ahead 2-0. Yeah, not all field turf plays the same. This one plays slower than any other, and that really is part of that Texas philosophy.
You talked about Casey Grayson's struggles. If you're struggling, this is exactly the count you want to see. 2-0.
3-0 now to Grayson.
3-0 not so much, because you're probably not going to get that opportunity to swing the bat.
Coming off a torn ACL last season, missed the entire season. 4-pitch walk. First runner of the game for Houston.
And that's got to be a little frustrating for Skip Johnson, the pitching coach for Texas, as he's watching Parker French. You got 2 outs, pretty 2 quick outs. You're facing Grayson, who struggled a little bit. 4 straight balls. Didn't even hit 1 in the strike zone. It just looked like Parker French kind of lost it for a minute, because he's been in complete command. Yeah, and those weren't really, and none of them were really close. Now, Grayson is a guy who could hurt you. You know, he's just because he's been struggling as of late. So maybe it's a respect thing where they were dodging around him.
Connor Hollis now with an opportunity to see if he can keep this inning going with a runner out. There's a number that applies to the man on first, Grayson, you don't often see, and that's his stolen base number. 1 for 6. At some point, you just quit running.
Right. Yeah, all of a sudden, I don't know if it's sometimes you're working the mound, it's early in the game, your plant foot might not be, you know, it might be hitting in a little kind of ditch where you are and you're not comfortable, but for whatever reason, Parker French all of a sudden just lost some of his command.
He's thrown 6 balls in a row, has Parker French. And that's 7.
And I wouldn't be surprised to get a visit, maybe not now, but if he walks him for sure. You can see, you know, the look on Skip Johnson's face.
Imagine you're Skip. You felt great 2.5 minutes ago, and now all of a sudden, what's happening with my guy? Augie, well, he doesn't look concerned, as we said yesterday. He never does. There's a strike.
He's got a very simple philosophy. Skip Johnson does. Hit the mitt. You know, nice little rhyme, just to kind of say over and over if you're on that mound. You've got a good defense. Hit the mitt. Just play catch. It sounds very simple, but sometimes not so easy.
There you go. So 7 straight balls and then back-to-back strikes. Full count, 2 outs and a runner on. Grayson will be moving over at first. Hit him. Square in the back on one of the 4s. And now 2 on and 2 out for Caleb Barker.
And that's another one's probably a little bit frustrating. See Augie Garrido in the dugout watching. This one just completely gets away from Parker French. 3-2, you got 2 outs. That's really a sign that, he's struggling a little bit.
Those kidney type
that
shot.
Win,
where'd you go? And here comes Skip Johnson.
Yep. Find out what's going on. Probably give him a little subtle reminder, maybe mechanic issue. Give him something to focus on, some positive thought.
Just strange to see.
Yeah,
because he was humming along.
He was grooving. Parker French, an emotional young man, likes to play, wears his emotions on his sleeve, which can be a good and a bad thing. You know, if you got things going, you're fired up, you're in the game. But if things are against you, all of a sudden you start throwing 6 balls in a row, you hit a guy. You know, how does that affect you? So I'm sure that's something these coaches will keep a close eye on.
So Caleb Barker, the catcher for Houston, steps in 0 for 3 yesterday. 6'3" senior from Keller, Texas. Great defensive catcher. Hasn't given them much in terms of offense. He's got Grayson over there at second. Not great wheels at second. May take more than a simple single to get him home. We will see. 2 down here in the second. The 0-1 from French. Houston hasn't been to the College World Series since 1967. They have played in 3 previous Super Regionals, 2000, 2002, 2003. Lost all of those, including here in 2002 when they won the first game, but then Texas won the next 2. Swung on, and it's 1-2.
Really good movement. You saw the 93-mile-an-hour fastball, but a lot of movement on that. Sometimes you get a guy who throws that heat, brings it that hard, gets a little straight. Good to see that movement. That's what makes guys, that's what separates the best.
Another 2-strike buzz coming from the crowd again. Over 7,000 strong here at UFCU Dish Falk Field. 1-2 pitch. Just missed. 2-2 now. Big moment for Houston. What's the level of importance of getting on the board first in a game you have to have?
Big.
Todd Whitting's team, again, they've been through this. They had to win 3 elimination games just last week in Baton Rouge, beating Southeastern Louisiana and then LSU twice. Boy, nearly hit Caleb Barker. 3-2 now.
It's a big one right here. Parker French needs to hit the mitt.
Should Barker get on, that would bring up the center fielder Ashford Fullman. 9th in the order, but he's a .273 hitter, does have 32 runs batted in. Swung, center field. Mark Payton up, and Payton makes the catch. Little trouble there for Texas, but they get out of it. They'll come to bat in the bottom of the inning.
Wondering what?
This is the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. We welcome you back to Austin as Texas gets set to come to bat here on the bottom of the second. Take a look at the bracket here. The road to Omaha. Irvine up a game on Oklahoma State. Louisville and Vanderbilt leading their respective series after Friday wins. Now on the other side, Texas Tech with the early lead on the College of Charleston. And Maryland in the 6th inning right now, leading Virginia in Charlottesville 5-3. That's a team you and I saw a couple of weeks ago in the ACC championship game. We saw a lot of ACC baseball this year, Danny. They didn't beat Georgia Tech that day, but they Went into Columbia, South Carolina, beat the Gamecocks a couple of times. They're playing really, really well.
It's all about peaking at the right time. Their coach, John Sheff, has done a fantastic job building that program.
As, of course, they go to the Big Ten next season. Little pop-up on Madison Carter. Easy play for Frankie Ratcliffe. Defensively for Houston, it's Pyatt, Fulmer, and Cervance. When you go left field to right. Again, they're much like Texas. We talk about how similar these teams are. They depend heavily on their fielding. On the infield, Hollis, Ratcliffe, Vidalis, and Casey Grayson, and Caleb Barker, who's been very good at nailing base runners that try to steal. He is behind the plate. Just 2 errors in their last 8 games. Of course, one of them was costly yesterday.
I was just going to get to that. You know, when you are a defensive-minded team, you play sound defense, and your catcher throws guys out. He was run on yesterday by Ben Johnson, and they had an error, which cost him a run.
C.J. Hinojosa grounded to third. Hollis across the diamond, and Grayson makes the nice scoop. 2 down quickly in the second. That showed you Texas defensively, top 30 nationally. Well, they were tops in the American in fielding percentage. 50 double plays, and then you see Caleb Barker, 43%. It was at 44% before Ben Johnson got him on one in game number 1. Right fielder Colin Shaw, the lefty from right here in Austin, Westlake High School. Talk about the football power that they are. He played wide receiver for them.
Home of Drew Brees, Nick Foles.
Yeah,
they got some guys who can play around there.
Shaw, first base. Grayson, diving stop. The throw to the pitcher, Garza covering. And Grayson helping preserve a 1-2-3 bottom of the second. So the defense is shining. 9-1-2 due up for the Cougars. Grayson, the defensive play to end the inning. Back to Austin in a moment.
All it took was 5 pitches. Impressive.
Omaha begins June 14th. The coverage begins. Last 5 national champs, UCLA did not make the field this year. Neither did Arizona. South Carolina eliminated at home by Maryland, and then LSU, who was knocked out, of course, by Houston. Top 3, Ashford Fulmer, center fielder. First pitch swinging, high fly ball, right field, Shaw. That was easy.
We talked about the 5-pitch inning last time for Aaron Garza. I was telling you in between innings here that Tommy John was my high school baseball coach.
Yeah,
The Tommy
that's
John.
cool.
The Tommy John.
Not
Great
the
guy.
surgery, but the man.
Great, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Great guy. But his goal, his, I guess, utopia, is that what you call it? Like your perfect, your golden goose,
Sure.
was a 3-pitch inning.
That works.
3 pitches. 3 pitches and out. Try to get him to hit it, swing at one, you know, ground up, ground balls, get out of it.
Absolutely. Why be out there longer than you need to?
Right.
Right. Pitch to contact. Kyle Cervance grounded a second his first time up. As we go to the top of the Houston order. And there's Garza. 6'4" junior from Galveston. There's a strike from Parker French. Well, you take that when you struggle through a second inning and you're French and you come out and they swing at the first pitch and pop it up. Well, you got to feel much better.
Oh, absolutely. Get that first one. Especially after a little shaky inning like you had the last time you were out.
What Houston needs is Cervance to get on base. He's got 31 steals on the season. He hadn't been on base yet in this Super. He's 0 for 5 to this point. Oh, nearly 0 for 6 there. Barrera couldn't hang on to the foul tip.
Even yesterday, Houston, when they got the leadoff runner on, they weren't really able to do anything with him once he got on.
Right around 90, 91 degrees here. Sunny day in Austin.
Beautiful day for baseball.
X game still going on as well. Slow ground ball. Rolls foul. A little bit more on the man at the plate. Let's go down to Kaylee.
Dari, Coach Whitting not shy about saying this offense comes and goes with Kyle Cervance. So when you say it hasn't been a good Super Regional for him so far, certainly a guy Whitting is looking to today to take a lead and set the tone early.
Yeah, no question. 0 for 4 yesterday, 0 for 1 so far today. And the crowd is getting on Cervantes for the slow journey back to the plate. He's clearly in no hurry.
He can fly. He needs to, he wants to catch his breath, make sure if he hits another slow roller, he's got a good chance to beat it out.
He says, look, I'm 0 for 5 in this soup. This is the longest I've been on the field offensively.
That's cold.
There's Cervantes, and they're keeping Mark Payton busy back there. Takes a few steps backwards, and that's 2 away. Be sure to catch a little more baseball tomorrow night on ESPN as Big Papi leads the Boston Red Sox against Miguel Cabrera and the Detroit Tigers. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. Red Sox and Tigers, 8 Eastern on ESPN and live on Watch ESPN. Here's Josh Vidalis, the second baseman. Take a look at some the selections. Thornhill pitched yesterday, 13th round. We would expect if there's a game 3, Lucas Schiraldi would go there. If we bring that back up real quick, I missed who actually took him today. Seattle has taken Lucas Schiraldi. Yes, the younger son of Calvin. Pitched with the Red Sox in that '86 World Series when they lost to the Mets. That would be the Bill Buckner World Series. French works fast, doesn't he?
He does. Both pitchers get up, get the ball, deliver.
Tried to wrap that one around the plate, didn't do it. 2-1 now to Vidalis.
I must say, I've never understood the slow approach. Walk around a little bit, delay some time.
It's 90-something degrees out, Let's go. We have a trip to Omaha to take, right? That's what you like to think. Now 3-1.
In the last inning, 2 outs when he struggled.
Three hits in game 1 for Vidalis. Full count now with 2 down. French just standing on the rubber ready to go. Says as soon as you get in the box, here we go. Let's try it one more time. How about this? Parker French, I'm being told, just taken 19th round by the Tigers. Guess what? He doesn't know that yet. He's busy.
He can't.
And they're not going to want him to know that. They would prefer they wait and tell him after the game. The future Detroit Tiger, Parker French. Vidalis fly ball. Will it stay in play? And if it does, can anybody make a play? What an effort by Ben Johnson. Fortunately, he is okay.
Well, we talked about his speed on the base paths. Man, he's showing some serious range out there. Almost got to it. Almost made a great catch. It's pretty heads-up play. I mean, because he probably could have caught it if he went head first, but he probably might have decapitated himself. So pretty smart play with going feet first and catching.
Oof. What's that? Even his slide was
had it.
Twice as fast as my run. Parker French just taken by the Detroit Tigers.
It's a great at-bat we've got going on right now.
Yes, indeed. Vidalis is battling. Continues to battle.
That one might have been out of strike zone, too. That might have been ball 4.
Now, French, by the way, is at 48 pitches right now, too. The second inning has really kind of hit him a little bit. Now the third isn't a piece of cake for him. 9th pitch of the at-bat coming right now to Josh Vidalis. And look at the finish to the at-bat. Josh Vidalis' 4th hit of this series.
Solid job. You fought off a bunch of balls, fouled them off, finally got one you could work with, stayed down on it. Nice line drive, beautiful piece of hitting.
So now he's over at first for Frankie Ratliff. 11 of 14 in stolen base attempts. How active are you now if you're Houston? Hard enough in the series to get a guy into scoring position. Well, no look at going there. Ground ball, shortstop steps on second as Hinojosa. So the Dallas wasn't on base for long. We're through 2.5 in Austin. Still scores. Back in Austin, Darinoka, Danny Cannell, Kaylee Hartung as you take a look at what happened on Friday at Super Regional play. All game ones, of course. Vandy, Louisville, Irvine, and Texas, all winners.
I am not surprised at all. A lot of people might be about that Irvine win against Oklahoma State. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I didn't think they'd slow
has them going. They have their offense clicking, that small ball, but they put a lot of pressure on defense. Elliott Surrey, who got the win last night, he's kind of a left-handed version of Greg Maddox. He's got a lot of not a lot of velocity. Got some moves. He's a bulldog on the mound. Wears glasses. He looks kind of like a bookworm. I'm telling you, he really resembled him.
I didn't think they'd slow the bats of Oklahoma State in Stillwater at that park at Alley P, but they did. 8-9-1 here for Texas in the third. Casey Clemens starting it off, and he's at 1-1. Clemens, Zane Gerwitz, and then back to the top for Brooks Marlowe.
We see the average, which is down, but man, he had a big hit yesterday's game. Took it almost about 3 feet from a home run.
Well, there's another one down that line. Grayson, the flip to Garza, one away. So
Garza so far has been really impressive. Pounding the strike zone, good movement on his fastball, mixing it up and up. I think the most important thing, the recurring theme, is getting ahead in batters.
Here's Zane Gerwitz, the third baseman. 1 for 4 in yesterday's game one. Looking for a bunt single, but playing in is Hollis. Relatively easy play there. You surprised he went that way? Hollis was inside the bag.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, that's something you've got to do when you're in the batter's box. Maybe get a sneak peek down there, and you can see the full charge from Hollis, who made a beautiful play. I mean, Gerwitz has some wheels, but you've got to at least give yourself a little bit of advantage. See if you can catch him off balance. See if you can get a guy behind the bag. But even now, Hollis with Brooks Marlowe at the plate's up ahead of the bag.
Well, Texas isn't making Garza work. That was the 6th straight batter retired, and he's done it on 13 pitches.
It's efficiency at its best right there.
Marlowe flew to center field to lead off the Texas first.
And now here's a rare case where he's fallen behind 2-0. See if Brooks Marlowe can make him pay for it.
There's a strike. Fastball down the pipe. 2-1 now. You'll take that, right?
All day long.
Fly ball, center field. Fulmer makes the play. 1, 2, 3, third. So we're a third of the way through. Still scoreless in Austin. Well, Houston fans clearly feeling a little better. Well, you lost your hat there, but scoreless through 3 as they come to bat in the 4th. ESPN counting down the 25 most impactful players in College World Series history as decided by an expert panel of ESPN's college baseball writers and announcers. One player revealed every day till the start of the College World Series, June 14th. For more information on the CWS 25, go to ESPN.com/college sports. And how about Bert Hooton? At Texas, 69-70. College World Series, 3-time first-team All-American. College Baseball Hall of Famer. Legends team member. College World Series all-time team. Bert Hooton.
There's a certain Longhorn I have a feeling is going to be pretty high on that list. Guy by the name of the Rockets.
Yeah, I think you may be. There's the old party bus out there in right field.
Man, they're rocking that thing today, huh? Get Kaylee out there today.
She might have gotten her fill yesterday.
Right.
I don't know if she wants any part of that today. Four, 5, 6 in the inning here for Houston. Michael Pyatt, the left fielder, who flew to left his first time up, steps in. Well, you see the smoke from the grill. And we're looking out to
Yeah.
our left. I see that coming.
They're known for their barbecue
I'm
around
thinking
here,
that's
right?
either a grill or it's cool mist spray. I'm going with grill. Although either would work.
A little of both.
Yeah, right. You any cooler up here than you were yesterday?
A little bit. I'm acclimating.
You are, huh? You're adaptable.
Yeah.
1-2. 2-2.
Occasionally, it just looks like Parker French just overthrows a little bit. I mean, he can bring it. We've seen that gun a couple times at 94, 95. He's got that in him. I think he's much better served, though. Kind of dials in his mechanics, about 92, 93 with movement.
Pyatt, ground ball, right side. That's through for a base hit. Second hit of the day for Houston. So an opportunity here, Danny, for a Cougar run, perhaps get on the board first in this must-win game, too.
No doubt. Fidalis on first base, 0 outs, get that leadoff runner on with a nice base hit. And with the way they've struggled offensively. But although the DH, excuse me, Pyatt.
So Justin Montemayor, the DH, steps in. Lays down a bunt. This is what Houston does. And they did it well that time. So the sacrifice is perfected as Barrera throws down to Clemens. That's one away.
And that's what we didn't see yesterday. Even the times they did sacrifice, it wasn't executed quite as cleanly as that. That was about as clean as you get. Perfectly executed by Montemayor.
And perfect for Houston, their most dangerous hitter comes up. Casey Grayson, who walked on 4 pitches in the second again. Pardon me, leads this team in hitting, home runs, runs batted in, slugging percentage, on base. It's who you want up in this situation right now if you're Todd Whitting. .48 runs batted in for the fifth-year senior from Cypress, Texas. Now 1-1. This is the part of the lineup back in the second where French really struggled. He walked Grayson, hit the next man up, Connor Hollis. Found a little bit of trouble.
We talked about Whitting wanting this guy at the plate. He's a senior leader, somebody the team really rallies around. He's had a tough go of it injury-wise, but this year, his senior year, he's been special.
That missed 2-2 now to Casey Grayson. A lot of power in that bat. But also a very good contact guy. He'll put it in play. Three and two. Just 28 strikeouts against 51 walks on the season for Grayson. Big pitch coming from French. Be careful with a man up at the plate. Ball 4. Second walk of the game for Grayson. 2 on and 1 out now for Houston in the fourth.
Parker French laboring a little bit. You know, we talked about Thornhill yesterday, how effortlessly he made it look. Parker French just hasn't seemed to quite found his rhythm just yet.
Connor Hollis, his first time up, was hit just south of the left-handed 4 in the back of his jersey. Oh, 0-1 now to Connor Hollis. Again, Michael Pyatt standing on second after a single, and then he slid over on a sacrifice bunt by Montemayor.
That's what Parker French mindset has to be. I've got a great defense behind me. Let me roll up a double play ball, get out of this jam.
Oh, 0-2 quickly to Hollis.
Well, that ball had some nice run on it, right in on Connor Hollis's hands. Ball got in a hurry.
Houston, who fell behind 2-0 in the first. Eventually it was 4-0 at one point yesterday. Would love to strike first here in game 2. Hollis, third. Runners coming. Throw to second for one. Over to first, and they got the double play. Double play number 66 on the season for Texas. 5, 4, 3, 0, 0.
Hey.
Welcome back to Austin, where Texas is a win away from a 35th trip to the College World Series. This is a program that has won 6 national championships. 49, 50, 75, 83, and then 2002 and 2005 under Augie Garrido. 9th Super Regional in 16 seasons of this format. 16-6 all-time in Super Regional games. And of course, this year comes after not reaching the NCAAs in either of the last 2 seasons, which is still simply remarkable. 34 appearances in Omaha. More than anybody else. You think college baseball, it's a crime not to think Texas. 2-3-4 coming up for the Horns here in the bottom of the 4th. Ben Johnson, the left fielder, starts it up. We welcome you back to the dish. Dory Noka, Danny Cannell, and Kaylee Hartung with you here in a must-win game 2 if you are Houston. So now 0-2 quickly from Garza to Johnson. Garza's looked very good this afternoon. 7 straight hitters retired on 17 pitches. Got away. Barker had to work a little.
Yeah, Garza's been impressive. Kind of each inning comes out here, it's more the same. A lot of these 0-2, 1-2 counts. Really puts a lot of stress on these hitters to change their mindset.
Outside now, 2-2 to Ben Johnson with the dangerous Mark Payton standing on deck. Augie Garrido, the only coach to win national titles in 4 different decades. Going back to 1979 with Cal State Fullerton. That's outside, 3-2. So Johnson, after falling behind 0-2, has worked the count full here. Might have swung at ball 4. Johnson, well hit left field. Back goes Pyatt. He dropped it. Hit off his glove. Johnson holds up at second with a leadoff double. We'll see if they call that a double or an error.
I think it's got to be an error. Pyatt was on his horse the whole time. This ball was ripped, but this place is a graveyard. Really deep out there, and you see it just kind of eat up. When you're running full speed like that, that ball is bouncing, and just at the last second, you saw it get on Pyatt in a hurry, and he couldn't come down with it.
Still no ruling.
To me, that's a play that should have been made.
It is.
It hit his glove.
It is a hit. They call it a hit, a double for Johnson. Oh, remember what stadium?
Yeah, that's true. Getting that home field advantage.
Well, that's a tough play. He was on a dead sprint and all of a sudden realized I've got to stop. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's whatever it is. Mark Payton is now up with a runner on second and nobody out. Things just got scary for Houston. Because Payton is 4 for 6 in this Super Regional so far. Now he's ahead 2-0.
All of a sudden, that strike zone's a little tighter, too, it seems. That ball just off. It's kind of how it goes. You start struggling a little bit, the umpire kind of senses that. When you're dialed in, they sort of give you the corners, the edges of the plate.
You saw the Texas players in the dugout. Do you think there's nothing on the line here? Ball 3.
And, you know, this game is sort of unfolding what we thought this series would be. Low scoring, tightly contested. You know, not a lot of home runs, even though we did see one yesterday right off the bat. But we thought it would be where you'd have to generate runs and make people pay for their mistakes. I know it wasn't an error, but if you're Texas, you got to take advantage of this opportunity.
Strike 1, 3-1. Now, is Payton getting on first base the worst thing in the world if you're Garza?
Not the worst.
You bring up a much less dangerous Barrera, who's 1 for 6 in this Super to this point. You have a double play in play. And he's on first.
Well, that pitch was tight, too. You talk about squeezing the strike zone. We can see, yeah, Todd Whitting is frustrated. I thought that was a strike as well. I mean, you tell me,
that's
Dar.
close.
I mean,
That's
maybe
close.
where he caught it looked low, but man, it looked like it crossed over his knees.
Well, look at Whitting, too. Todd Whitting knew it.
He's doing the best, try to go to bat for his players, and I'd be frustrated, too, if I was him. He knows the importance of that, especially a guy like Garza, who's typically a guy who does not walk a lot of guys.
We talk about the 101 straight games that Payton's reached base, but 8 of his last 10 plate appearances he's now reached base as Tres Barrera steps in. 2 on, nobody out. Texas a win away from Omaha. Infield in all the way around. Well, the first baseman, Grayson, is
well, this is a no-brainer.
40 feet away from the plate when that thing is.
It's a no-brainer sack situation. Now, if you see that, if you're Texas, possibly try a slash, maybe show the bunt, try to slash one.
Grayson again charging. Laid down towards third. Well done. They may not get him, they won't.
About as good as it gets right there. I don't know if you remember, Dari, yesterday we opened the show talking about this series. We said it's all about who executes better. That sacrifice bunt from Tres Barrera was absolutely perfect. Deadened the ball, made an extremely tough play for Connor Hollis, who was playing up, by the way. He was up. And that's the difference. Who executes their style of play better? Texas has consistently put pressure on this Houston defense. And Houston has struggled. You talked about these aren't going to go down as errors, but they're just solid plays that Houston has been making, and they have been making them here in Austin.
Now the Pyatt play out left really started what?
Yeah, leadoff batter of the inning getting on, especially when it's the second hitter in the lineup.
And now Houston faced with an immense amount of pressure in a must-win game. They've been held scoreless through the first 4 innings, and now Texas on the doorstep of exploding in the 4th, as you see.
Now Frank Anderson's going to bat for his pitchers too, and he's going to get careful. He might get tossed because now Whitting's coming over. They're having a conversation.
He's feeling squeezed. There's no question.
And Whitting came out. I'm not sure what happened, what was said to Anderson, the pitching coach, but that definitely fired up Whitting even more.
This is a Houston team that got through Baton Rouge, got through the conference tournament in many ways on emotion. and maybe a little bit of this is that.
They could absolutely use it for sure.
So here we go. Madison, Carter up, bases loaded, nobody out. Grounded to third. Home for one. First they don't go, but one away now. So a good play by Connor Hollis. And that is the start here for Houston to get out of this mess.
That was big for Houston. You get Carter first swing, first pitch swinging right here, and you get a nice easy play to the third baseman. It's a no-brainer for him to get the lead runner, keep that run from scoring, and then a wise decision by Caleb Barker not to try to turn two, not to try to force the issue, but to just eat the ball, keep it in play, and now you've got the double play and opportunity.
So here's C.J. Hinojosa now, bases loaded, one out in the fourth. Could you imagine if Houston's able to get out of this? We talked about how emotions are playing such a, what that would do for them. That's a huge if at this point, though. There's a strike, 1-1 to Hinojosa. You're Houston, you want a strikeout, a pop-up. Nicely stopped by Barker. Remember, a pass ball or a wild pitch will score a run in all likelihood. Hinojosa grounded to third, back in the second. Aaron Garza at 50 pitches. Number 51 is Mammoth. Just foul. Monster moment here in Austin. Texas a win from Omaha. Houston backs against the wall. That's been good for them so far. Base hit. One run is in. 2 runs are in. 2-0. C.J. Hinojosa.
What a beautiful at-bat. Get a pitch low and away. You take it opposite field. Battling in the count. Coming through in the clutch right there. That's what helps take teams to the next level. Getting to Omaha takes hits like that in big situations.
Colin Shaw, the right fielder, steps in. Fouls off the first pitch. C.J. Hinojosa has been fantastic so far. 3 for 7 in this Super Regional. That third hit was big. In fact, he leads the team with 6 runs batted in the NCAA tournament so far. 0-2 now to Colin Shaw.
That ball seemed like it was in the glove when he swung it back, didn't it?
Madison Carter at third, Hinojosa at first after driving in the first 2 runs of this game.
Tell you what, Garza's still very much in his composure. He's kept his composure through some tough calls and tough hits.
Outside.
Man, I'll tell you what.
Goes. Hinojosa now down at second.
I'll tell you what, Whitting is really frustrated with some of these calls. I think he's even asking his catcher, you know, where is that? That's one way you can kind of get around criticizing the umpire. You know, where was that? And the catcher's saying, I hit my spot, you know, hit the glove.
It looked outside from here. I would say
yeah,
that.
It was just off.
1-2 now to Shaw. 2 more in scoring position after Hinojosa stole second. Shaw 0 for 4 in this Super. Shaw, right field. Should get a run in. Cervantz makes the play. Throw doesn't come home. Carter does. Sacrifice fly for Colin Shaw.
It's all about execution. That's what it's been about. That's what was going to be the difference in this series. You got runners on second, third, give something a little lift, scoops it in the air, just deep enough to make it a tough play where the run scores easily.
So here's Casey Clemens, who has made very solid contact, really, through both games here. Three runs here in the fourth for Texas. Well, I could just feel Whitting boiling right now.
Oh.
As there is activity here in the Houston pen. Jared Robinson getting loose. Righty. The strike call.
And, you know, I don't blame Todd Whitting either. I mean, you hate to have a game decided by a strike call or, a non-strike call. But I think he's got a pretty valid argument on that 3-2 pitch.
There's a strike on the outside corner. Now I think the fans are starting to feel that Whitting's aggravation may be paying off for him a little bit. And you saw Hinojosa just kind of playing with Garza a little bit, who walked him back to third. Connor Hollis plays off the bag over at third. 1-2 to Clemens. 2-2. 29 pitches in the inning now for Garza after 31 in his first 3 innings.
Now this is a little bit perplexing to me. Why Garza's letting Hinojosa on third base get in his head. You know, you got 2 outs, you got 2-2 count, get the batter.
Oh boy. Full count now to Clemens. He is working here in the fourth. And it hasn't been fun labor. 3 runs are in. Full count, here we go. So fun, we'll do it again. They have made him pay. Again, the defensive mistake out and left by Michael Pyatt ruled a double. Off the bat of Ben Johnson started it up. Clemens well hit center field. Fulmer lets it drop. Another run in. Clemens pumps his fist, slaps his hands. It's 4-zip Texas. You see Pyatt out there, who's missed play and left.
Boy, just
started it.
Garza just grooved that one. Clemens was dialed in the entire time. And you talked about it, man. He's been ripping the ball this series. I know his batting average might not show for it. But, man, it's all about peaking at the right time. Ask UCLA that last year. I mean, you get hot at the right time of the season, catch some momentum, carry right through.
Well, if he starts hitting.
Oh.
If he starts hitting, this team becomes that much more dangerous in the need. Omaha's the next destination for it. Zane Gurwitz, the third baseman now, with Clemens on first and 2 down. And what's been a devastating 4th inning for the Cougars. Do they have more magic in them? Or do they leave it in Baton Rouge? That's the question Todd Whitting's going to have his team answer. Because they'll need it all. That is high, foul ball. Again, 31 innings through the first, 31 pitches through 3 innings for Garza, who's thrown 34 in this one alone.
We kind of created this momentum, not only this inning by Texas, but the double play to get out of the jam the previous inning for Texas. Defensively, they went in French was fired up. It took a lot of momentum in the dugout.
Just high 1 and 2 now to Gurwitz. There's French.
Don't have to worry about getting cooled off in this Texas heat.
Good point. Gurwitz ground ball short. Ratcliffe. Grayson can't dig it out.
Well, what a nightmare inning for Houston. They just cannot make this end. And this has been the difference, Dar. I'm telling you, execution will look like, you know, it was a short thing. The inning was over. You don't come up. Now Brooks Marlowe with a chance to extend this inning and tack on some more run support.
In fairness there to the shortstop Ratcliffe, I do think Gurwitz beats that throw. His foot was there, I think. They called it a hit. They ruled it a hit, and certainly the scorer felt the same way. But what you may not have seen is on the misplay or the errant throw, Clemens moved over to third. And Garza's day is done, and it was just a nightmarish inning as Jared Robinson, Jr. from Lubbock, comes in to try to stop the bleeding. But they can feel it here at the dish. Omaha might be on the horizon. Aaron Garza just, you know, not wholly responsible for the bad fourth inning here. Didn't get a lot of help from his defense, but his day is done. Didn't get through the inning. 36 pitches in the inning. Faced 8 batters, gave up 5 hits, 4 runs, and he's being replaced by Jared Robinson, Jr. out of Lubbock, Texas. Bit of a change of speed guy. A lot of off-speed stuff. Induces a lot of ground balls. Again, 38 strikeouts, 44 in a third innings of work. So Robinson going to try to limit this to 4 here in the inning. And I mentioned before we went to break that Clemens had slid over to third. I was mistaken. He was at second. At that time, he was over there talking to his coach at third. And now you've got runners on first and second for the top of the Texas order, Brooks Marlowe. Oh, 0-1 now. So Casey Clemens at second after a single. Zane Gurwitz at first. See Texas coming up big, Danny. Runners in scoring position, 3 for 4.
Clutch.
How about Marlowe? 5 straight times he's come to bat. He's flown out to center field. Be ready if you're Fullman. Swing and a miss. 1 and 2 now.
Well, you mentioned it, Dar. You were talking about Robinson. Not the velocity, but the movement. Big change of pace after Garza.
Look at what he did in Baton Rouge. All regional team selection. Remarkable numbers there. They need him here. 2 and 2 now to Brooks Marlowe. Ben Johnson started all of this with that double to left. He's on deck. It's the 9th hitter of the inning. And all that damage against Garza came after he had retired 7 straight on 17 pitches. 2 and 2 pitch. Strike 3 call. But it was a 4 run. Fourth inning for Texas. 9 hitters came to the plate. Folks, Houston's in trouble.
We're back in Austin where the Longhorns have a 4-0 lead over Houston, joined now by Coach Augie Garrido. Coach, what impressed you most about your offense's execution in the 4th inning?
Well, the fact that we separated balls that we could hit from the ones that we couldn't really well, and we got down our bunts and took our walks. You know, that's one of the better rallies of the season right there.
A quick first inning by Parker French. What's your advice to him as he tries to find his rhythm?
Just keep hitting the mitt. Throw it to the mitt and let your defense work behind you. Don't try to do too much by yourself.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Dari.
Kaylee, thank you very much. Parker French, yes, you said it really flew through the first. Been a little bit of a, there's been a little labor really since that 2nd inning, 4th inning, a little bit more difficult for French. Maybe that's encouraging for Houston. They've got serious work to do. They've been able to do some against him, though they haven't scored a run here. The catcher, Caleb Barker, leads off the top of the 5th.
You know what helps when you're laboring? A 4-run lead.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll help you settle in a little bit. All of a sudden, that stress level will start to reduce a little bit. That and that emotion he showed the last inning. When he came off the field, they had that double play. He was fired up. His last inning seems like an hour ago, but here he was. After that was rolled up, he was jacked up. And Skip Johnson, his pitching coach, going to come over, had a little conversation with him. Probably tell him to keep those emotions in check. You know, you want to try to embrace those, but you don't want to let them get the best of you or to light up the other team. That was the conversation they had. You know, I'm sure some of it was about he was falling behind in the counts too. Reminded him a couple.
I was going to say that might have been mentioned in the meeting. Yes. There's a leadoff base hit for Houston in the 5th. Caleb Barker comes through. So 1 out, rather nobody out, and Barker on first base. That's Barker's first hit in 5 at-bats in this Super.
Houston desperately needs an answer, too.
Well, they've got a good hitter up here. Ashford Fulmer may be hitting the 9th spot, but again, he's got 270 on the season. And then you get back to the top of the order. The problem for Houston is the top of the order really hasn't given them anything. So Fulmer, he did fly out to right field back in the 3rd. '52nd start of the season for Ashford Fulmer. Came in as a defensive replacement in the 9th inning yesterday. Fulmer, right field. Shaw, 1 down. For more coverage of the Division I baseball tournament and for interactive brackets, make sure you go check out ncaa.com. Go to the top of the order now for the Cougars. Kyle Cervantes, 0 for 6 in this Super. Came in hitting .315, was the regional most valuable player in Baton Rouge last weekend, but just hasn't gotten going here. And now he grounds to Clemens. Over the short hit, Ahosa lets it get by. Oh, a costly mistake perhaps for Texas on a double play ball.
And Texas, who's been so sound defensively. See Hinojosa saying, my bad. I knew he had one there. It's a little tough play because the runner sometimes blocks your vision as the shortstop's on the field. That maybe, I don't even know if that was the case. He might have just tried to turn it, get that ball out of his hand a little bit too quick. And now the question becomes, you know, Texas made Houston pay, you know, not for their mistakes, but I mean, they had opportunities to get out of that inning.
Yep.
Now, can Houston make Texas pay for what should have been a, you know, inning double play?
Well, again, you go back to Baton Rouge in that deciding game against LSU. LSU gave them opportunities after they took a 2-0 lead on them. And Houston did make LSU pay now, but Dallas is hit and they are loaded for Frankie Radcliffe. One out, bags full.
Runs one inside, gets away from him a little bit.
I'm not sure his leg knew it hit it, but it certainly got the pant leg. Big moment now for Houston. Radcliffe 2 hits yesterday. He's 0 for 2 so far today. Radcliffe first. Clemens comes home. They get one. They don't go back for more, though they nearly found Servance a little bit far off at third. 2 down.
Well, almost exactly the same type of play as the play before. A grounder to Clemens at first. Gets the lead runner, prevent that run from scoring. We're 1 out away from getting out of this jam.
Radcliffe was just the right guy to have up there running to first, because he's got maybe the second most speed on that team behind Servance. So now Pyatt, the left fielder, who kind of misplayed that ball there that started the Texas rally just a bit ago. Pyatt, ground ball. Marlowe at second, makes the play, and nothing doing despite bases loaded with 1 out for Houston. They can feel it. They can feel something in this park.
Wondering?
The Longhorns holding on to a 4-0 lead here in Austin, joined now by Houston's coach Todd Whitting. Coach, we've seen your emotions on display on the sidelines. What's been expressed to the officials?
Well, I mean, I just thought there's a couple of balls, ball strikes me and go our way, but that's baseball. We just got to keep fighting away and keep playing.
You told me before the game yesterday you didn't feel like your players were fully engaged. Do you feel like they're here now?
Yeah, they're locked in and ready to roll now. We're just not getting. We just need to get that big knock. Just keep playing hard, and we'll just see what happens the rest of the way.
Thank you, Coach. Dari.
All right, Kaylee, thank you very much. Defensive change for Houston here in left field. So Michael Pyatt, don't know if it's because of the misplay in a moment ago. He grounded out with the bases loaded. This wasn't his day to this point, but Landon Appling, a senior, comes in. And you start to look, he's a senior. He's had a good career there for Houston. You start to wonder, you want to make sure he's going to get into this situation. But again, still just the 5th inning, 12 outs to go for Houston. Assuming Texas doesn't pile any more on. It's still within reach for a team that has seen its share of comebacks. And they certainly don't give up. 2-3-4 though. This is how it started in the last inning for Texas when they put 4 on the board. Johnson, Payton, and Barrera coming up. Johnson started it with that double off the glove of Michael Pyatt in left. One and one now as Robinson works in his second inning of work. Johnson 2 hits in 6 chances in this Super Region. Two and one coming from Jared Robinson. And the foul makes it 2-2. On deck, of course, Mark Payton, senior, drafted yesterday by the New York Yankees, who is 4 for 6 and has been on base a total of 5 times in 2 games here. Grounder, gonna be tough. The Dallas makes the play. Got him at first. That's not easy. Ben Johnson can fly. Nicely done by Josh Vidalis.
Beautiful play by Vidalis. Charging full speed, barehanded as quick as he could. If he would have tried to feel that was a glove and then transition, would not have had it. Check out the speed from Johnson out of the gate. Just in time. And then watch bare hand and quick flip over. Whew. To Grayson. That was pretty impressive right there.
So here's Mark Payton, the oh so popular senior from Chicago. 3 hits yesterday, 1 more today, also a walk today. They say he's got pretty much a green light in any situation, any number of guys on, nobody on, doesn't matter. He can do what he wants to do up there. Lays down bunts. We saw him with a bunt single yesterday.
Yeah, he handles the bat really well. Just
Augie
a
has
tough out. It's
complete trust in this man at the plate right now. Honestly, just feels like couldn't care less that the Yankees took him yesterday. Couldn't care, right? He's got work on his mind, and that's what's happening right now. An excellent defensive center fielder also. It's inside, 3-2. Taking a ball away from being on base for the 3rd time today and the 6th time in the series.
For 101 straight games, he's already done it. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Big 12 record. Inside, Peyton aboard. What's new? NBA Finals are on ABC. One team, 3 wins from the ultimate glory. Who will raise the trophy and be crowned champion? It all starts with NBA Countdown at 7:30 Eastern, and then it's Heat Spurs in the NBA Finals Game 2 tomorrow, 8 Eastern, ABC.
Get that IV ready.
You guys going to be
Get
all right?
Get that IV ready
you
for
realize
LeBron.
You are in Spurs country down here.
That's right.
Austin is about an hour, a little over an hour maybe from San Antonio, and from what they tell me, this is
going 7.
This is a Spurs area. Here's the catcher, Barrera. It's going 7. That's all you'll tell me, though. You won't. Is that all you got there, Heat?
Well, I mean, you're warning me not to upset our viewers, so I don't want to do that. But I am a Heat.
Well, you've got people all over the state. They're also Mavericks fans and Rocket fans. They may not want this person.
That's right.
Barrera didn't want to hit it, did hit it. Out at second, over to first, double play. Some things you can't take back. So the little 1-6-3 double play started by the pitcher, Jared Robinson. Houston better get a move on, folks. It's 4-zip. 6th inning, 4th coming.
Here at Sports
That would land
all
me
I
in a
know
hospital.
is Tom Shar. He was the hero of the week for me on your show. Yeah, 14 years old. Won the gold in the Big Air event. That was pretty cool. 4
runs for Texas in the 4th. Houston now 12 outs from elimination. Texas 12 defensive outs from a 35th trip to the College World Series. Parker French continues on the mound. 5, 6, 7 due up for Houston, starting with Justin Montemayor. Oh, Mayor looking for anything. Lays one down. Barehanded play at third. Throw, though, not good from Gerwitz. So a leadoff man aboard for Houston. Have we heard this before?
Last inning, couldn't capitalize on a couple of mistakes from Texas. And here, this one would have been a great play from Gerwitz. You see him barehanded try to flip it over. And Casey Clemens actually pretty good job diving to keep that ball in the infield.
Casey Grayson, he's walked twice, now up with a man on first. Grayson, well hit, shortstop. Hinojosa makes the play. Well, you start to save your Houston. Well, come on.
Yeah, what more do you have to do, right? Baseball can kind of be, you know, it kind of gets that way. Grayson's been struggling at the plate. He finally nails one. Hits it on the line. Just hits it right to him.
Laser beam from Hinojosa over to Clemens. So now 1 down for Caleb Barker, who singled in the 5th. Make that Connor Hollis. I just skipped Hollis a moment ago. Hollis, the 3rd baseman, grounded into a 5-4-3 double play in the 4th. .5'10" freshman from Arlington, a walk-on. Nicely played by Tres Barrera. Making sure Montemayor went nowhere. Texas too, proving along the way here in the NCAA tournament where they stand in the state of Texas alone. You know, they took out Rice.
Yep.
They took out Texas A&M. That was in Houston. Now they're on the verge of knocking out Houston. Hollis, left center field, down for a base hit. Have we mentioned Houston does not necessarily just walk away? There's now 2 on and 1 out here in the 6th.
They're not going down without a fight, and there's nothing more they would love than try to get into Texas bullpen. They've got a couple people up.
Travis Duke, Morgan Cooper, 2 very good relievers for Texas. Again, part of a very good staff, top to bottom. Bullpen starters, doesn't matter.
Todd Whitting trying to do his best to spark his club to get some runs.
So 2 on, 1 away for Barker, who, as I mentioned too early a moment ago, singled in his last at bat. Yet to come through with runners in scoring position, Houston today. Barker, fly ball. Payton in center. 2 down.
Well, these crowds have been great here in Austin for the Longhorns. I mean, they sold out, standing room only. Supporting them.
7,600 strong. Brought in some temporary bleachers to increase capacity by a little more than 300. Beautiful weather. It's a little warm. They're used to that here. The average high right now is 91. That's about what it is.
Actually, a nice breeze.
Here's Ashford Fulmer. 2 flyouts to right field so far today for the center fielder. Something has got to happen for Houston and happen quickly. Sophomore from Cypress, Texas, Ashford Fulmer. One and one. Montemayor at second. Hollis at first for Houston. They must rediscover what they had in Baton Rouge a week ago. Nicely played by Barrera again. He has had a really good and busy day back there.
He has. It'll be interesting to see what happens. This might be Parker French's last appearance of this game. I mean, yesterday, 91 pitches. It's Thornhill is getting up there. Bullpen's getting ready. Got to wonder.
The 1-2 to Fulmer. Fouled back. Well, Texas, again, mentioned top to bottom. Their rotation, their bullpen, fantastic. And you see just 1 earned run in 13 innings of work so far in this postseason. This is, you know, Houston and Texas are very similar. But when you watch this Texas team that's now 10 outs away from Omaha, this isn't a team that you think's a good story. They've been gone for 2 years, and here they are. This is a team that could win in Omaha. Liner, right field, rather center field. Payton tracks it down. The countdown is on. 9 outs from Omaha. Texas coming to bat in the bottom of the 6th. Now time for our pick you up moment of the game, brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We go back to that fourth inning for Texas where Michael Pyatt misplayed the ball off the bat of Ben Johnson. It was a double, and eventually, when it was all said and done, that in combination with some very timely hitting and perfect execution, Danny, as you said, got Texas 4 runs in the inning, and that's the difference. Right now they lead it 4-0 going into the bottom of the 6th, coming to bat of the Longhorns. And they could be the first team to punch their ticket to Omaha and the College World Series. On the other side, we've got a couple of finals. Texas Tech knocks off Charleston 1-0 at the Red Raiders. One of those teams will go to Omaha for the very first time. And that Virginia-Maryland score we'll have to check on.
I thought Maryland was up 5-3 at one time.
Yeah, I believe they were. That said 5-4 Virginia, but if it was 5-4, that would be a Maryland win. In fact, it is. I just did what we asked you to do. Go to NCAA.com and Maryland 5, Virginia 4. So, wow, John Chef's Terps, who had not even been to the NCAA tournament since 1971 before this year, are now a win from the College World Series in their last year in the ACC. Talk about the ACC not won a title since '55. Wouldn't it be something if Maryland did it in their last year?
That would be.
There's a strikeout looking.
How about the favorites? I mean, we filled out brackets, and my bracket is completely busted.
You did? I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
Yeah. I wish I hadn't because it was bad. But, I mean, all the favorites kind of going in. Oregon State, they got bumped. Now all of a sudden UVA's on the ropes.
You're not going to leave out Florida State, right?
They were Florida as well, the Gators. The whole state of Florida was a disaster, so I'm not even mentioning them.
Miami, yeah, you better believe it. Here's C.J. Hinojosa with 1 out, bottom 6. Jared Robinson has come in and really settled things down as he's now in his 3rd inning of work. The junior from Lubbock on the mound for Houston. Well, we talk about the Big 12 and how good it's been in the postseason. 5 teams in the tournament, 4 end up hosting regionals, or rather supers. Texas on the verge of a trip to Omaha. Texas Tech with a win. They're up 1-0. Oklahoma State did lose to Irvine last night. Of course, we'll keep an eye on TCU and Pepperdine as well, but it's been a very good run for this conference. And really this state of Texas as well. Hinojosa, boy, thank goodness there's a net there in front of that Houston dugout. Hinojosa, 2-run single in the 4th, then stole 2nd, later scored. The busy inning for C.J. Hinojosa. Liner, left field, base hit. Hinojosa's 2nd of the day. That's now 4 hits in this super for C.J. Hinojosa. What's left? You just got to wonder what's left. Do they have it left? They're down to their final 9 outs. Can't let another run cross. It's been a remarkable season. 48 wins, ties a program record. They've done that twice before. Colin Shaw, the right fielder now. 0 for 1 with a sac fly.
Houston needs to convert. They need to come up with those clutch hits, which we've seen Texas get to this point. We saw they had bases loaded. Couldn't get anything out of it.
Talk about Houston a little bit too. And that RPI of 2 coming into this super regional. I mean, in addition to beating LSU twice there, they also went 3-0 against Rice, which obviously hosted a regional last week. First time since '91 they swept their 3-game series against their crosstown rival there. They beat Texas Tech. They won in LA against UCLA and USC. They won at Texas A&M. They've had a remarkable season, but they have run into a red-hot Longhorn team. No balls, 2 strikes here to Colin Shaw. There's Parker French, he's found a little bit of trouble. Made it at times, Danny, a little harder than it needed to be, but he's sitting there, hadn't given up a run yet through 6 innings. Comes the 0-2, now 1-2. Parker French, again, drafted earlier today by the Detroit Tigers. Here's the 1-2. Ripped into center field, another base hit for Texas. So back-to-back singles by Hinojosa and Shaw. 9 base runners in the last 3 innings for Texas. They had 1 in the first 3 innings. And here's a young man that is hitting the ball in terms of contact and swinging it as well as anybody on this team right now, and that's Casey Clemens.
He has been absolutely ripping the ball the last couple days. Even when he's not been getting on base, he's been putting a charge.
2 for 5 so far in the 2 games. Casey Clemens on the season, 1 home run, 17, make it 18 now runs batted in with 1 today.
He's about 3 feet away from a home run yesterday. Man, that was close.
That was a laser beam, was it not, as Frank Anderson, pitching coach for Houston, comes out. Former pitching coach here for Texas for 2000 and 2003 under Augie Garrido, then went to Oklahoma State, become the head coach there. And he's at Houston now, working with Todd Whitting. The conversation to Robinson might center on what, Danny?
He's reminding him of the situation here. Hey, you know, you're successful today because you've been getting ahead in counts. You fall behind a couple, you get yourself in trouble. Again, just remind these guys, sometimes they need a reminder, hey, a ground ball up the middle and you're out of this. You know, roll up a double play, pound the strike zone. That's been their motto all year. Don't get too cute.
So the 1-0 now, that's what Robinson's sitting at, looking at Casey Clemens. Then Zane Gurwitz, who's been hitting the ball well, behind him. 2 on, 1 out, bottom 6. There's a strike. You saw Frank Anderson there. That is, as Todd Whitting, the head coach, says, that is our head coach of our pitching staff. Whitting makes virtually no pitching-related decisions. That is all his assistant. That's high, 2-1 now to Clemens.
And if you're Houston, you have no choice but to get out of this jam. The pitching staff that Texas has, the way they've been humming it.
That's ball 3. 3-1 now to Clemens. Dangerous situation to a young man that is swinging it well right now.
Yes, it is.
Something they've been waiting for him to start doing. It seems like he's doing it.
And Clemens, who's already playing with a lot of confidence, the way he's been swinging the bat right here, can be selective, find something he likes.
Young son of Roger Clemens, who of course was a legend in this park. Take a little off that one, Dan?
Yeah, not the worst thing for Clemens to let that go by either. I think if he would have chased it, would have probably been a little flare to left field. So I think it was a smart decision him to lay off that.
And his dad's number honored here forever. Big pitch coming, huge pitch coming in Houston's season. Jared Robinson, full count pitch to Clemens. Let's do it again.
Clemens takes a healthy hack now.
Yes, he does.
He's not going to get cheated up there. Plays with a lot of emotion. We've seen him make a couple nice picks at first base defensively. About as solid as they get.
Got him. Wow, Clemens peeks back at Robinson, who peeks right back at him.
I'm not sure what all the jawing's about. There were definitely some words exchanged right there. Some mean mugs, too. They were just mean mugging each other.
Mean mugging. You know, we were told, warned coming into the series, that it could get a little bit chippy here. These are two teams that are just full of guys who, you know, baseball is life to some degree, and particularly that Houston side, a little bit of an edge to that Cougar team and all that they've been through and having to do it all on the road. Here's Gurwitz. There's a strike, 0-1.
Here's Clemens after he goes down swinging. See the strike three. He comes right back. He's looking the whole way. I'm not,
What in the world can he possibly say right there?
And I don't know why you're doing it, because the last thing you want to do is wake up Houston. You know, you don't want to get them riled up. Got a 4-run lead.
I mean, there was not a pitch inside.
No.
I mean, it was just it was a good at bat for Clemens and a better performance by Jared Robinson.
Yeah. Tip your cap.
Freshman.
Right. Hey, we just said he plays with a lot of emotion, you know.
He does. One to Gurwitz. Not sure what that hit other than Barker.
Yeah, I think it just hit Barker. It was weird. It's like, I don't know if he got crossed up on a signal.
Looked like it. Did it hit the knob of the bat, perhaps? Or did that? Let's see this again. You can't see much there. They're calling this a strike, though. I think
he did hit the knob.
Yeah.
I think it did hit the knob of the bat. I think it did. I think that's why you heard the boo from the crowd. They're thinking, what's going on? But I think it definitely hit the bat.
That's the right call there by the home plate umpire, David Savage. So it is a foul ball. Also a little wound to Barker, perhaps. So now a 1-2 pitch coming to Gurwitz. Fly ball, right field. Cervantz makes the catch. Time is running out. 9 outs left for Houston. They're down 4-0. Cougars coming to bat in the 7th.
Matt Schick here in the studio. It is over in Charlottesville. Bottom 9, Virginia down 1. Tying run on second. Robbie Coleman flies out to right. Maryland now 1 win away from its first trip to the College World Series, Dari.
That's incredible.
That's a remarkable story.
How about Maryland? Last year in the ACC. Parker French's day is done. Travis Duke comes in. We'll introduce you to him in just a moment. But right now, let's get you back down to Kaylee Hartung.
Dari, I spoke with Parker French between innings. He said, my arm feels good, but I feel even better knowing the bullpen I have behind me as we look at Travis Duke now on the mound for the Longhorns.
Well, now he gets to eat an orange in the dugout there, so that's good. Travis Duke, the sophomore from Pearland, Texas, 6'3", as you can see. And you know a little bit about this guy. What should we watch? Look at the ERA. Is that even a number?
I know, right? Infinitesimal right there. He's their best lefty out of the pen. Deceptive to the plate. They can use him for either matchups or they can use him in long relief.
If you're wondering how you come up with 0.36, that's 1 earned run in 25 innings. That would be your ERA. 22 strikeouts, 7 walks. So the top of the order for Houston coming up. Kyle Cervantz, 0 for 7 in this Super Regional. Bats have not gotten going for Houston. 12 runs scored by the Cougars in that Monday win in Baton Rouge to move into the Super Regional, but just 2 runs for Houston through 15 innings so far here in Austin. 2-0 here to Cervantes. There's a strike from Duke. Cervantes right back at Duke. 1 out.
Houston seems like every time they've hit the ball with some contact, solid contact, it's right at somebody. That time to Travis Duke takes it over, the easy underhand toss.
The 1, 2, and 3 hitters for Houston in these 2 games so far are 2 for 21 combined. Here's Josh Vidalis, who did have 3 hits yesterday, but he wasn't hitting in the 2 spot. When he had him, he was hitting in the 7th spot. Vidalis, that's a base hit. How about a Texas glove that couldn't get on one? Second hit of the day for Vidalis. 5 hits in this Super Regional so far. Be sure to catch more baseball tomorrow night on ESPN when Big Papi leads the Boston Red Sox against Miguel Cabrera and the Tigers. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell, Boston and Detroit, 8 Eastern on ESPN and live on Watch ESPN. So here's Frankie Ratcliffe. He takes a strike, going 1. Macy Parker French, you mentioned the Tigers. He is now property of the Detroit Tigers. Once the contract is signed, he was drafted by Detroit earlier today. Ground ball, Clemens. Hinojosa. Clemens, double play. The troubles continue for Houston. Omaha approaching Texas. This is the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. Dory No Good, Danny Cannell, Kaylee Hartung with you in Austin, Texas. As Texas is trying to close out this best of 3 Super Regional, they are 6 defensive outs away with a 4-0 lead from a 35th trip to the College World Series. Houston's Jared Robinson's day is done. Chase Wellbrook now the 3rd pitcher of the day for the Cougars. 12 saves on the year. He is their closer. At this point, you want to get him in.
Yeah, why leave him in the bullpen with the season on the line? You have to contain this damage and try to keep this a 4-run game.
And they'll have the top of the Texas order to deal with out of the game here. Marlowe, Johnson, and Payton. The junior from Giddings, Texas so far. 0 for 3 today. Only Marlowe and Madison Carter are without hits on this day for Texas. And this was a day after every Longhorn did reach base. Somehow, anyhow. Center field, Fulmer. 1 out. Ben Johnson now steps in. He's 1 for 3 today, doubled in the 4th. Started that 4-run 4th in which 9 Longhorns came to bat. 0-2. Now to Johnson. Augie Garrido, 18th season at Texas, 46th overall, 1,916 wins, more than anybody that's ever coached at any level in college baseball. 5 national titles. 14 trips to the College World Series in all, 7 at Texas. Number 8 is very, very close. 6-time, as you see, National Coach of the Year. Championships, 79, 84, 95 at Fullerton, 0-2 and 0-5 here. As Johnson strikes out swinging.
I'd love to know what he thinks of this year, just specifically because of the turnaround. Last year they struggled so much, dead last in the Big 12, didn't win one conference series. Last season really struggled. A lot of people were scratching their heads saying, what's going on in Texas? And boy, look at it, it didn't last long. There was a little slump, a mini slump, and here they are right back where seemingly they are every year, right in the mix.
And he's talked about it too. You go back to the fall, this is a team, as Mark Payton gets a nice ovation of what may be his last at bat here in Austin. You go back to the fall, he said they didn't work so much on baseball things as much as attitude and mental toughness. Everything was a competition, a winner and a loser. You don't want to be the loser. As Payton grounds to second, and for one of the very few times over the last 2 days, Mark Payton is retired. The first time today that has happened. 6 outs from Omaha. Can Houston find any of that Baton Rouge magic? All the scoring in this game came in the bottom of the 4th when Texas threw the 4 spot up on Houston as 9 Longhorns came to bat. Now Texas is 6 outs away from a 35th trip to the College World Series, first in 3 years. And it comes after 2 seasons of no NCAA tournament play. Dari Noka, Danny Cannell here. Thank you for hanging out with us on a nice, warm Saturday afternoon in Austin here. How impressed are you with what we've seen from Texas?
Really impressed. I mean, we came into this series saying whichever team executed their style of baseball better would probably come out on top. And that's what we've seen from Texas. They've pounded the strike zone. They've got solid defense behind them, and they've been tough outs at the plate. Yeah. They're fast. They run the bases very smart. They put a ton of pressure on the opponent. And that's exactly what they've done. To their credit, they've come up big in the clutch situations. When they've had runners in scoring position, they've capitalized.
They're a lot more than pitching and defense, which may have been what they were. Well, it was what they were earlier in the season, really to about maybe the midway point. And then they started hitting the ball, and they continue to hit. 19 hits in the 2 games here so far. And when you take the pitching and defense they have, and you take that to Omaha with a team that can hit a little bit, doesn't depend on the long ball, but gap-to-gap type of power, which they have, they are very, very dangerous if they get there next week. Fly ball, and that's caught. So Marlowe makes the catch.
I think maybe the favorite part of this last couple days was when Kaylee asked Augie Garrido about Peyton's home run in the first inning of yesterday's game. And he was still in shock. I think he was still shocked from the outcome of that. That was great. His reaction was priceless.
Yeah, he was as stunned by that as anybody else. Just the 2nd home run of the year for Peyton. Just the 5th that Texas has hit in this park all season. 16 outside of Dish Falk, but just 5 here. Justin Montemayor. Time's running out, folks, for Houston. DH 1 for 2 today with a sacrifice bunt. That didn't miss by much for Travis Duke. It's been a remarkable season again for Houston. They don't quit. They don't give up. We don't expect it here in the final inning plus. Swing and a miss, 1 and 2. And every strike gets a little bit louder here.
They're sensing a dog pile right around the corner. If you're Travis Duke, you got to stay in the moment, 1 pitch at a time.
Texas pitchers have not allowed an extra base hit to the last 147 batters. 38 innings since they allowed an extra base hit. You've got to go back to a week ago today against Rice down in Houston. A 6th inning double. That was the last one. Pop up. Gurwitz 4 outs away. For more coverage of the NCAA Division I baseball tournament and interactive brackets, make sure you go check out ncaa.com. Casey Grayson now trying to keep the 8th inning alive for Houston. Now, how about Grayson? His team is not performing well today. It looks like the season could be coming to an end unless there is a serious rally here. But he was selected in the Major League Baseball draft just a little bit ago. 21st round by the St. Louis Cardinals. So congratulations to Casey Grayson. 1-1. The only Houston Cougar to play in and start in every game this season. 5th-year senior. Strike 2. Two and two. Well hit left field, foul.
Well, that's
Houston
a
luck,
microcosm.
right?
That's a microcosm of the afternoon for Houston. Just have not been able to get a ball to drop in play. Haven't been able to kind of get that break. Texas's credit, they have put a lot of pressure and they've come up big when they've had to.
Did you see the little look from Grayson too?
Yeah.
A little smile.
Come
I was just
on,
like,
really?
Yeah, no, go figure. Go figure. Yep. By the way, get used to those colors, Casey.
Yeah.
St. Louis Cardinal draft pick. 2-2, 2 outs. In a postseason that has seen so many Cinderella stories, this is not one. Yes, they've been away for 2 years, but Texas is Texas. Texas baseball is Texas baseball. Left field, foul. They feel there is a right they have every year to be in Omaha. They've done it 34 times. Why wouldn't they feel that way? They've won 6 national championships. They can sense it. It's close.
Well, he's working that left field foul line, isn't he?
Well, that was a souvenir straight into a Houston section over there, too. So there you go.
Look at that right here.
Who's got it?
I think none of them.
Who's got it? Kid's got it. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. He checked the chops there. Grayson, center field. There's a base hit for Casey Grayson. 3rd time he's been on today with a couple of walks as well. So that'll bring up the 3rd baseman, Connor Hollis. I mean, I'm hoping that man didn't take one of the...
There's a possibility he did.
The gums.
Texas, though, man. Spit that right back out. Get right back on it, right?
We're good. 0-1. Kaylee?
Dari, you see the numbers for those 6 national championships that Texas holds up in left field, but any sense of entitlement is exactly what Augie Garrido wanted to extricate from his clubhouse. It's why he says this team is special, because the chemistry they've built among themselves is all about a we mentality.
Well, there's Hollis. That's a base hit, and just as we've gotten used to from Houston, they're not going away quietly here. The Cougar fans that are here trying to continue to keep their team fired up and going. 2 base hits on the day for Hollis, and now comes the catcher, Caleb Barker.
Interesting to see what happens here if Texas makes a switch, goes to a righty.
Well, you see Barrera going out to talk to Duke. And
I think that's what's going to happen, too.
Here comes Skip Johnson. You see Curtis there, the closer. Now, he did go 2 innings yesterday, number 43, the righty.
He threw about 27 pitches yesterday. There wasn't a huge workload on him.
Yeah, the thought was coming in,
he could maybe give you an inning.
He could give you some. Yeah, maybe an inning.
So, I mean, maybe it's this batter even. You know, you get a right-handed batter, get out of this jam.
Now, Skip Johnson has decided to go ahead and make a move. Saw 2 guys getting loose, and, well, it's not going to be Curtis. It's going to be Morgan Cooper, another righty, a freshman righty. Gerald, Texas. So that'll do it for Travis Duke. The only trouble he ran into were the back-to-back singles a moment ago. Top 8. New pitcher coming up.
Wondering what
The NCAA Baseball Super Regionals is presented by the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn 1.5% cash back on every purchase.
Welcome back. 2 down here in the 8th inning. Houston with 2 on, down 4-0 as Texas close to perhaps closing the door on the Cougars, who are a pesky bunch. There is no question. New pitcher on the mound as Travis Duke's day is done for Texas. Morgan Cooper, 6'5" freshman, steps in. Now, his dad herds bulls. How about this? So Coach Garrido, Augie always says his dad works with bulls, so this guy probably won't be afraid to come into any situation.
I know.
Yeah. So Caleb Barker in the box there for Houston, 1-0. Single and a couple of flyouts to center field on the day for Barker. There's a strike from Cooper. Houston in the series 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position. 0 for 6 today. One and one from Cooper. Liner, base hit. Runners will hold. One won't do you much. Could get you thrown out. Bases loaded now for Ashford Fulmer, the center fielder. You see the numbers on Duke.
3 pop-ups on the day for Fulmer.
Right, and center is where he's found the mitts. Bases loaded. He's got 6 hits in 15 at-bats in the situation. He's behind 0-1.
4 home runs on the year, so he's got some pop in that bat.
He does.
It's a big park, though.
That's what Todd Whitting wanted. Just give us more opportunities. We'll see if we can cash in. 0-2. And I think it's about to get loud. Crowd coming to its feet. 0-2, 2 outs. 4 outs between Texas and Omaha. Fulmer hangs in.
Boy, after seeing both those back-to-back off-speed pitches, that was all he could do just to get a piece of that bat on that.
We'll try it again. Ground ball, third base, Gurwitz, 3 outs away. They can smell it from here. A 35th trip to the College World Series in line for Texas. They're 3 outs away. The party bus.
They're rocking that party bus.
Goodness, I hope that roof is strong. 4-0.
I was looking forward to one of my favorite things in college baseball. That's the dog pile.
Yeah.
But as my Twitter followers very astutely reminded me, we're not about the dog pile. That's that's old news in Austin.
They only dog pile when they win it all.
Just a super regional. Come on.
4-0. 4, 5, 6 coming up for Texas.
I guarantee you those dudes in that truck out there would dog pile.
They may dog pile.
That's right.
They may come right over the wall. You know, Kaylee was telling us there's no sense of entitlement. So nothing's a given. They've been away from maybe they dog pile.
I do like that approach. You act like you've been there before, which they have.
Maybe it's different. 0-2 now to Tres Barrera from Chase Wellbrock, who came in the 7th inning. Yeah, they're a little fired up, I think, out there.
I think whoever owns that bus is like, hey, take it easy.
Yeah. No bouncing, guys. Little insurance with this pesky Houston team certainly wouldn't hurt for Texas. Oh, wow, the off-speed got him, so 1 away there.
Well, Brock, you can tell why he's one of the better closers in the country with that stuff.
Madison Carter, the DH. Next up, looking for his first hit of the day. Carter popped up in the 2nd. Hit into a fielder's choice, later scored in the 4th. Struck out looking in the 6th. Carter hitting .350 on the season. Well over 400 in his last 13 games. 13 runs, now 14, 6 runs batted in, 5 doubles and a home. He's just part of this Texas team that's really all of it hitting very well of late. Carter, 3rd. Hollis, 2 down. So with 2 outs here in the 8th, the shortstop C.J. Hinojosa, who's 2 for 3 on the day. A couple of runs batted in, runs scored, stolen base. Hinojosa's been very good for this team. Texas, 10 shutouts on the season, tied for 8th nationally. Houston came into the Super with 9. Hinojosa, fly ball, pop up, rather shortstop, Ratcliffe. That's it for Texas in the 8th. Can they hold Houston? A 35th trip to Omaha may be just around the corner. Three outs away from a trip to the College World Series for the Texas Longhorns. A crowd of about 7,600 ready to explode as we go into the ninth inning. They would become the first team to punch their ticket to Omaha. Irvine, Louisville, Vanderbilt on this side of the bracket, all with Game 1 wins. Irvine knocking off Oklahoma State and Stillwater last night. On the other side of the bracket, you have a Maryland win over Virginia. They're up 1-0, and Texas Tech a 1-0 winner over Charleston. John Curtis is going to get a chance to close this out, the sophomore closer for Texas, who yesterday went 2 full innings, picked up his 9th save of the year.
I'd go back to him, too, after what he showed yesterday.
Yep.
What he's shown all year.
It's the top of the order he faces, so Houston going to get a crack here. Down 4, last chance. It's been a phenomenal season for Todd Whitting's Cougars. 48 wins, matching a program record. The conference tournament championship, knocking off Louisville in the American Conference Championship game. 2 wins over LSU in Baton Rouge last weekend. Those will be talked about around this program for a long time. They're not ready for it to end now, but the climb is uphill and it is steep. 0-1 to Kyle Cervantz. 1-1. Right back at Curtis. Hinojosa makes the play. 1 away.
Did we mention that Texas has been stepping up big, both at the plate and on the field? Almost takes off Curtis's head. But look who's right there in the right spot. Hinojosa. That ball almost took out Curtis. He's right there, smooth as silk for the first out. 2 more to go.
Josh Vidalis, 2 hits on the day for Houston, as well as a hit by pitch. He's been aboard 3 times in this 2-game series thus far. 1 through 3 hitters are 3 for 24 for Houston. Vidalis today has 2 of those 3 hits. Conference tournament MVP. Strike 2.
Hit his spot. Tres Barrera was just off the plate there.
Two and two now to Vidalis. Better than 7,000 people here at the Dish, ready to roll. Base hit. Josh Vidalis with 3 hits today. 3 hits yesterday. He's 6 for 7 here. Let's take a look at our Capital One player of the game. And, well, it's kind of got to be the starting pitcher for Texas. 6 innings, 5 hits, didn't give up a run. Couple of walks. Oh, by the way, drafted by the Tigers, Parker French, indeed.
He was impressive. He was impressive, no doubt. Had a couple hiccups here and there, but battled his way back.
That ball got away from Barrera, so the runner slides over to second now. Double play out. Game can't end that way right now. Ratcliffe did ground into a double play his last time up in the 7th. He's 0 for 4 today. Will be Ratcliffe's last at bat, perhaps. The senior from Key West who started his career at Miami. Two and 0 now to Ratcliffe.
It's not really what you want to see if you're Augie Garrido and Skip Johnson in that Texas Longhorn dugout.
Now you've burned Duke, you've burned Cooper, now you've got Curtis out there. You want him to get you out of this 3-0. I don't remember anybody saying getting to Omaha was easy.
Nope.
Missed, low, 2 on, 1 out for Houston. Now a pinch hitter coming in for Houston. Jacob Lewenberg, 6-foot red shirt senior from Caledonia, Wisconsin. Number 42 there will hit for Houston. Ty Colbreth, the lefty sophomore, get loose there in the Texas pen. Skip Johnson makes the visit to the mound, doesn't make a change here.
I'm sure the message is pretty simple. I mean, they keep it simple, the pitching philosophy. Hit the mitt, and I'm sure he gave him a little subtle reminder, hey, a ground ball, double play, game over.
So now 2 on. Lewenberg steps in. Did have an at-bat yesterday, was unsuccessful in it. With the walk, of course, this super could end on a double play once again. Lewenberg this season as a pinch hitter, 5 of 18. Lewenberg, left field. Johnson, there and out away. Crowd up. Justin Montemayor, the DH, going to try to keep Houston's season alive. The dish is a buzz. Strike 1. The Longhorns are back, and for the 35th time, the eyes of Texas are upon Omaha. No dog pile.
Been there, done that.
It's Texas moving into their 35th College World Series. And for Houston, A remarkable season comes to an end here in Austin. We can put a team in. The first of 8. Texas, welcome back. They move on to the College World Series. In their first game, they'll face the winner out of the Stillwater Super Regional, which the Anteaters of UC Irvine lead 1-0. And now the handshakes on the field. One of the great moments. Once again, our final score, Texas 4, Houston 0. Up next, Sports Center. That's all from the Austin Super Regional as Texas moves on to Omaha. For Danny Cannell, Kaylee Hartung, and our entire crew, I'm Dari Noka saying goodbye from Austin.